What's going on, everyone? Welcome back into Road Graders. I'm your guy, Cole Jackson, coming today on the Russell Street Report, courtesy of our friends at Royal Farms. More from our sponsor here later in this episode. We're going to be diving into the offensive guard position, taking a look at Andrew VORHEES and Daniel FAALELE, taking a look at more of the question of if the Ravens have some options, which they do on the bench now, and Emory Jones and Kenyon Green on the practice squad, who do they look? I'm going to give you my conclusion kind of right off the bat. Both are playing poorly, and I want that to be very clear. I don't want this to turn into a Daniel FAALELE slander video. I don't know if it's slander. I guess it's not slander if it's truth. But just that FAALELE is bad and VORHEES is good. They're both playing poorly. I just think Andrew VORHEES has more redeemable qualities, and I'll show you why. And so I'm actually going to start here with a few good plays. And this is really important because this is a zone running team, and you can see here how this unit needs to work as one. And so we're going to get outside zone here, and they get pretty solid blocks from both VORHEES and FAALELE on this. So when this unit works in tandem, so there you can see it. Basic stuff, train track blocking. Everybody's taking that right scoop step. We're aiming, we're reading outside to inside here. And, you see FAALELE, nice leverage point, running his guy. You see Andrew VORHEES working that with Linderbaum, trying to launch Linderbaum into the second level. Once he can't, VORHEES gets into the second level and finds that cut where it gives Derrick Henry a cutback lane here. Derrick Henry cuts back a little bit further, but that's a solid run. They go for 4 yards. Very nice flow to it. Get into a pin and pull with Keaton Mitchell here. You're going to get the pull is going to come from the wide receiver here, and you're going to get both FAALELE and VORHEES getting into the second level. So there's FAALELE. He's not, I'd ideally like to see him kind of get up a little bit further, but he does a good job of seal blocking here. You can see VORHEES starting to overtake. VORHEES ends up actually getting kind of tripped up by FAALELE pushing his guy and creates that kind of stack up there. But solid flow, solid blocks. They're getting off the ball here. Another one here, you're going to get ISO lead. Really solid play where you're going to get FAALELE with the kick out block. You're going to get VORHEES keeping that that outside leverage right there. That's where we want it. Ricard's going to step up, and Keaton Mitchell's going to go for 22 on the cutback right off Andrew VORHEES' butt. So this is what I'm talking about. There's definitely plays where these guys this whole O-line is functioning well. Another one here from Derrick Henry. Inside zone. So inside zone to the right, it's going as an aim point right here off the right guard's butt cheek. So we need Daniel FAALELE to drive. We need Andrew VORHEES to overtake that inside shoulder. Right there, you're going to see him work that leverage point. You can see him starting to turn upfield. You see FAALELE kicking out. Ricard's going to go right through that A gap between FAALELE and Linderbaum where the gap opens up and ride that for a nice gain. So there's solid plays. But then you get a play like this. And obviously inside the 5 where they have struggled so badly, these high leverage moments, both guys are going to miss their blocks. See right there. Nobody's blocking anybody. Guards miss. Derrick Henry hitting the backfield. How many times does this have to happen? So start with Andrew VORHEES here on the backside of this run. He just straight up misses. Poor hand placement. Right there. He's got to overtake that one tech. As he overtakes, Linderbaum gets to get into the play side here, and Andrew VORHEES just needs to turn and have that left hand up in the chest plate, not too high. And you see right there, his guy comes in free. Daniel FAALELE on the play side here. And this is Daniel FAALELE's fundamental. It's funny. This play is actually a nice microcosm. Andrew VORHEES, poor hand placement. Daniel FAALELE having to operate in space. See him just miss his block on 51? He just can't do it in space. It's crazy to watch. Here's a couple plays showing exactly what I'm talking about. So you're going to get a toss play, or you're going to get a zone play here. FAALELE is going to get lost in space. Right there. He's got to pass off to Tyler Linderbaum. Easy play here. Linderbaum overtakes, quickest center in the game. That frees up Daniel FAALELE. Look at that exchange. So Linderbaum's going to overtake that one tech so easily. Not many centers can overtake that quickly. That frees up Daniel FAALELE to get into the second level and make a block. And you see that lack of athleticism. He just gets lost in space. He should be lining up pace and driving him, and he just can't get his body on him. Then we get into the fake QB sneak toss play here. And so a lot of people thought that he was sitting back because he was in pass pro. This is going to be a nice RPO play. So, and I'll draw it up here quick for you. So Mark Andrews is going to toss to Lamar Jackson, and it is an RPO, or I guess you'd call it PRO, because I think the pass might be the first play, because Tylan Wallace is going to go out and run a route here. And so as that happens, because the offensive line is in these pull blocks, you can see right here that white line is basically the line of scrimmage. So Lamar Jackson's going to get the ball. Lamar Jackson has to decide very quickly at this point if he's throwing to Tylan Wallace. Why? Because in any RPO or PRO, if the ball does not come out, the offensive line is going to start to run block, and that's where you get ineligible downfield blockers. So you can see right there, Rosengarten's already passed that white line. Ball would have had to have been out to Tylan Wallace. He didn't throw it because Harrison Smith follows that and could have made a play on the ball. So he's going to follow Derrick Henry, and that's what takes away Lamar's pass read, because Harrison Smith is right here in the way. So it is now a run play. Daniel FAALELE needs to be somewhat athletic to continue to work upfield. Again, this is not him sitting back trying to avoid ineligible downfield, because both Rosengarten and Henry's one step away from crossing that white line right there. That would automatically be ineligible downfield, and that's exactly why Lamar, who has the ball in his throwing hand, doesn't now throw it, because Roger Rosengarten's downfield. So that isn't the reason FAALELE didn't make his block in the run game. He didn't make his block in the run game because as he pulls, this should be an easy play. They're stacked up in the middle. You're pulling. You should be cutting off here. Work upfield works. Like, there's your pin. So right there, Charlie Kolar is going to pin. You should be working right off him into that second level. That linebacker that ends up making the tackle should be Daniel FAALELE's, which gives Lamar Jackson a nice path, but nope, 51's going to get out there and force that play. Harrison Smith makes a good play on Rosengarten out wide, but you can see what I mean. So he's just constantly lost in space. Another toss play here. Daniel FAALELE, the right guard, gets out in space. There, he's got to line up 51 again. Got to take him out. Easy play, right? Nope, can't keep that leverage. Loses him again. Another play here. This one, another toss, I believe. Yep. There's Daniel FAALELE. He's going to slip by. So he's going to leave the defensive tackle. He's got to cut off the backside backer. Frontside backer is going to flow to the ball. Probably going to become Ricard's man, depending on how, who gets where. Looks like Tylan Wallace is going to take him because there was no one to pin. Daniel FAALELE needs to cut off 51. Easy play. Nope, can't make the block in space. Where I struggle with him is, and kind of why I've led to my conclusion, I don't know how you fix that. Like, we're in year 2 of him starting every game. Shout out to his durability, but I just don't know how you fix that with coaching. I don't know how you fix that with scheme. They want to move the ball outside the tackles because they can't grind the ball downfield, and they have the least athletic right guard in the National Football League. It is mind-numbing to watch. It's painful to watch. Now, we get into VORHEES. We'll see a couple good plays here. Again, so we're going to look at some VORHEES bad plays here in a minute. So don't worry, this isn't just a VORHEES hype video and a FAALELE trash video. But I just want to show you kind of some of the positives that I've seen from VORHEES that I think you can build on. So you're going to get nice little cave in here. So this is going to be a nice ISO lead play. And this, if Ronnie Stanley blocks this linebacker, very good chance that Derrick Henry's going in, because Andrew VORHEES creates that leverage, caves in that side, and ideally Ronnie's blocking here, Pat's working inside, and there's that parting of the Red Sea that gets Derrick Henry downfield. Stanley blocks nobody. Ricard has to block 2 guys essentially, and Derrick Henry isn't able to go anywhere. Linderbaum tried to make a play there at the end, but Linderbaum's got to take care of the front line first. So he kind of tries to get there late, but I don't put that on Linderbaum at all. Stanley's got to block somebody. Get another one here. You're going to see a solid, show the meanness that Andrew VORHEES has to him. So he's going to take 51. Again, he's going to cave in. I think he does a nice job of creating that leverage, creates that hole right here. Does lose leverage as Cashman spins back inside. Would like to see him ideally drive block a little bit more, but look at him stick with the play and drive Henry, helping him to get 3-4 more yards. So at least he's showing a little bit of grind, a little bit of meanness. You're going to see a zone counter here. So we're going to get Ricard going across, handoff on the right side, but this is coming back against inside zone to the left, blocking right off of Andrew VORHEES' butt. There's that nice leverage creation. There's a nice gap for Derrick Henry to go through. As he loses leverage, he does finish his block, puts 97 on his butt. So, again, showing a little bit of meanness. Now, he does have some plays like this one where he does get owned, quite frankly. And this is where he needs to be more consistent. And I don't know if he's ever going to be an above average guard, but I think you can get average guard play out of him. So watch Pace, number 0. He's going to step up into VORHEES right there and just put him on his ass. That can't happen. That can't happen to an offensive guard against a linebacker. He needs to be that enforcer. This came early in the game. I think VORHEES got a lot better as the game went on, but this just can't happen. He right there, and it's kind of the same issue that we're going to talk about in pass pro. Look how wide his hands are. Gives up his chest, and Pace just literally drills his shoulder through his chest. He plays with such poor hand placement. His hands are always wide. His chest is always exposed, and this is what's going to happen. You're going to see it right here. Can't maintain leverage. Again, we're going to land with those wider hands. We want to have tight hands inside the chest plate and drive block. And he just can't do it there, loses that leverage. Before we jump into the pass game.
Do a little tailgate? Yeah. Nice. Yeah, I like to go all out. Check it. We got the big screen, live DJ, even got a hot tub guy.
I'm in the hot tub.
Oh, yeah.
That's cool. I've got Royal Farms. You guys want some?
Hey, guys, come on, don't leave. Hey, hot tub guy, come on, man.
Best tailgate ever.
Sorry, dude.
Big thank you to Royal Farms for sponsoring this video today on the Russell Street Report. We're going to jump into some pass plays, summary of the run game. Again, Andrew VORHEES, technical issues, giving up his chest. Daniel FAALELE, athletic issues, getting lost in space. One I think you can fix with coaching. One has some redeemable developmental qualities. The other, I just don't know how you fix it. Get into the pass game here. The Vikings are going to show blitz, which they're so good at. They're mugging both A gaps with defensive tackles. They got both B gaps filled, and it's going to get messy on the inside here, but I really like how both, again, we're going to start with some positives here. I really like how both, and Linderbaum, how the entire interior handles this. So you can see right here, they're big on big blocking here, and so FAALELE's got 51. They're just going to man up. See right there, man up. That's not a big on big. What am I talking about? They're just man blocking across from them with extra protection in there. And so as they're going to run a little bit of a line game here, we're going to see a nice exchange. FAALELE reading it, getting in there, and creating that leverage to get back into the pocket. Ball comes out quick, but no one really at risk of breaking through there. Nice pass to DeAndre Hopkins with only 3 out in a pattern. So nice read by FAALELE, or by Lamar, sorry, to get that out to DeAndre Hopkins. But like always, they're going to have a play where both are going to show their fundamental issues on the same play. So you're going to see, we'll start with FAALELE. 55 is going to jump up, giving Daniel FAALELE something to read. He's going to start on 55. He's going to come off, pass him to Tyler Linderbaum. He's got to pick up Cashman, who comes in late, the delayed blitz. This is what the Chiefs did to them over and over again. They let the protection set, as it does right here, and then they're going to run through a gap with 2 preoccupied offensive linemen, and you can see right there, FAALELE late to the punch. Ball comes out quick, so not a bad thing, but this is where we've seen sacks get given up, just that lack of athleticism and awareness from FAALELE and pass pro. Now you go to Andrew VORHEES on the flip side, who's got Javon Hargrave on the inside. He's going to step inside right there, and the fundamental issue that I talk about every week, and I'm honestly exhausted talking about, gives up his chest. You can see the white tape on his hands. His hands are wide. They're not inside. He gives up his chest, and right there, he just starts to get driven through. Constant, same thing. It's exhausting. And so VORHEES is going to struggle. We'll look at a couple VORHEES bad plays here. So Cashman up here, mugging that A gap. VORHEES with a 3-tech across from him. VORHEES has really struggled in these moments, making good decisions in pass pro. So as he's going to come back, they end up with a real issue. They're getting a full-on blitz. They got one-on-one, 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 and then Harrison Smith. And so rule of thumb with offensive line plays, everybody takes the inside man. So Linderbaum has a linebacker. Andrew VORHEES should have Hargrave. Stanley should have the edge player, which I believe is Greenard. Harrison Smith coming free is Lamar's read. That's just picking up the blitz. And so you see them start to pass it. And this is also on Stanley as well. And so I just don't understand how that's your protection call, because they all shift left. And right here, the guy that's being left is the inner A-gap player. Linderbaum can't pick him up because there's a linebacker there. And then you get VORHEES making this decision where he's going to try and block two guys with one arm. And it just doesn't work. He needs to take the most inside guy. Almost an interception there off of a poor blitz pickup. Andrew VORHEES has really struggled with that. Needs to take the inside guy. Ronnie Stanley also makes a mistake on that play. I do not think that was a line shift. There's nothing else showed me that when you look at it. I think it's just poor decision making. Andrew VORHEES is going to give up his chest. We're going to look at that over the next two plays. Right there, give up his chest and get pushed. Happens pretty consistently, but you can see Lamar, I think it was his sixth fastest time to throw in this game. So the Ravens decided early they were going to get this ball out, and then Andrew VORHEES goes for a little bit of a ride here inside. There he's giving up that chest and gives up the quarterback. Does he get a quarterback hit? Either way, you can see exactly what I'm talking about. There's those hands. Those hands are wide. We're in bear hug mode. We're up high. We want those hands in tight. We want that butt down low. We want to arch that back, create that strong back. Instead, he just gets hit like a dummy sled and gets driven into the ground again. So again, this is a technique issue. As much as this is kind of his anchor being run through, it looks like a strength issue. You can see right there, those hands are wide. His hands are wide, gives up his chest, gets driven. It's a pretty consistent thing that we've seen on his tape all year. Then you get to Daniel FAALELE, and we're just going to see the athleticism issues, very similar to the run game. So we're going to get, this is the screenplay. So this is a screen to the left, supposed to go Derrick Henry. Daniel FAALELE has a 3-tech right in front of him. He's not part of the pulling offensive line. So what he needs to do is step with that left foot here to cut off. He needs to force the defensive lineman into that B gap no matter what. That's your B gap right there. He needs to force him there no matter what. He slants. You can see him slant right there. And if he was a little bit quicker, you can see Rodgers doing the same thing. Nobody's there for him to do, but they need to take that hard right inside step, drive that that inside hand up into the inside armpit and turn, and basically force the defensive lineman over there. Instead, FAALELE just runs with him right into Derrick Henry. Now, to be fair, incredible read by the defensive lineman, but you need to show more resistance, more athleticism to cut off, and he just can't. He just doesn't have the athleticism. It's never going to come. It just is what it is. Daniel FAALELE getting out in space. You can see they're going to shift to the right here. Tyler Linderbaum slides over to pick up. Daniel FAALELE has to operate in space against I believe that's Greenard. So he's got to get out in space, and you're going to see him just give up the edge right there. And you can see him chasing. That's just his athleticism issues. Lamar's going to take a shot there as he throws the ball away. But that's just constantly what happens to him in pass pro when he loses. It's getting out in space. They're going to do it to him again here. They're going to force him to kick out. They got two edge players. They got Van Ginkel off the side. I believe that's a linebacker stepped up. And he's got to get out there in space again. And he's just going to give up the edge on this twist. And so this is mostly on Roger Rosengarten as well, because Rosengarten has to take this over. And he doesn't. I actually thought FAALELE picks it up because he's turned so much. Ironically, that poor technique that results in him opening that gate is what helps him pick up this edge player. So what I mean by that is we typically don't want to see our offensive guard with his foot inside with him pointing to the back. I don't mind if a tackle takes this spot outside at the tackle box limit, because he's just going to push him out the back of the pocket. You can't push this guy out the back of the pocket from inside the pocket. But ironically, as he twists, Van Ginkel is going to come in, and he's able to pick that up right there with his inside hand. So, I mean, kudos to him, but I'm not trying to be too harsh on him, but it's lucky that he picks that up because he had already turned inside, and it wasn't for that reason. By the way, clear defensive pass interference call. So that's all I have for you guys. That's my view of the guard competition. Again, it really comes down to what you think is more redeemable. So my summary of this is I don't think either guard has played well. I think Andrew Voorhees has been a little bit better in the run game. I think Daniel FAALELE has been a little bit better in the pass game. I think overall they have both performed below league average, to be very clear about that. Daniel FAALELE's plays, his bad plays, are splash bad in terms of something negative happens. It's very noticeable. It's almost like a blooper reel. Andrew Voorhees, less so of a blooper reel, but still pretty bad losses on his resume. The thing that makes me want to replace the right guard and not the left guard has nothing to do with anything other than I can at least justify that I think Andrew Voorhees is a zone fit, given he has adequate athleticism in the zone run game. And I think I can fix his technical issues if I'm an offensive line coach. With Daniel FAALELE, he doesn't fit the scheme. He isn't athletic. He can't function in space, which is what my offense is trying to do. So if you're playing in that framework and you're not performing, I just can't justify it in my head. That's kind of my take on it. Drop a comment down below. Let me know what you guys think. I want to hear from you. Hit that like button if you enjoyed this breakdown. Hit subscribe if you're new here. And as always, my friends, be good to yourselves, be good to each other. Peace out, everyone.